Yeah, perfect timing.
Repeater.
Good morning, repeater. Make sure you get your learning logs out while the morning brew crew. Whether you're listening now or later, it's also a candy. And we're going to have the morning weekday roundup here. Well, hang on a second. Pen handy, learning log, we're always learning new things about antennas, transceivers. Oh, we got a lot of bacon this morning. Excuse me.
Good morning. And it's 7-3.
I don't know what kind of reception we're going to have this morning. Right now we're just running a little diamond, so it looks like like an antenna you'd have on like a portable radio.
STX. At AQM. And 8FPV. KEHCTC. Good morning to NAQM, N8FPV, and KEVGT. Go ahead, Wes. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. This is NAQM coming to you live from Linton Township. Good morning, Eric. Good morning, Jim. And I didn't catch the name. And I'm going to have to write the call line down. I didn't even get that.
Just got a small
Man,
mobile
down to
antenna.
Eric. This is NAQM. NABWB to join. Good morning, Jim and Wes, and I believe KEHCGT Victor Golf Tango is Ed, if I'm not mistaken. And good morning, Larry. You will follow Ed, and we'll be turning it back up to the top to Jim. Happy Friday. It is Friday. A little bit cooler than yesterday, it feels like, but not too bad. Nice, clear, sunny day, which does not bode well for me as I drive directly into it and have to resort to my nice polarized sunglasses to keep my retinas from being burned out. With that, I will send it over to Ed from N8FPV. Thank you, Eric. Good morning, gentlemen, everybody. This is going to be short because I tried to catch the early bird edition, but nobody was on. But I'm approaching that area in Farmington Hills where I could lose everybody. When I turned down 11 Mile Road, everybody's almost gone. But I am approaching that quickly. Right here. Over to you, Larry. Jim, and good morning. I didn't hear much of Ed's transmission there. Ed, you were breaking up a bit, at least here at my place. But good morning, let's see, Jim and Eric and Ed and myself. Hopefully it's a good day at TGIF for the workers out there. And I want to thank you very much again, Eric,
on your project. Very interesting. And I started to look up that computer module chip, or not chip, but the computer module board, to get more specs on it. It looks like an interesting device there, or I'll call it. It's amazing. A whole computer board we think of as a device, but it's amazing. And so thanks for all that information. And it's quite an interesting project, and the boards are very nice, like I had said in that note back to you. It looks really like a very interesting project, Aaron. And sorry to bother you so much with nuts. Probably we're getting tired of that. But it was very, very nice. So, Jim, back to you, sir, and good morning to you, and hopefully you've got some good plans for the weekend here. W8STX from NABWV in the group.
This is W8STX, and you are listening to the weekday morning roundtable on this frequency. It's an open roundtable. It's open to all licensed amateurs in the listening area. Just about your call sign, we'd be glad to put you in rotation. We start about 8 o'clock in the morning and go till at least 8:30 if propagation allows, but oftentimes we do talk longer. It all depends upon how many people check in and how long people have to talk on the radio. And good morning to Wes, Eric, Ed, and Larry. And Ed, yes, you were getting to a spot in where your signal was beginning to drop out. We will try again on this round to see if you're still in there. But if we don't hear from Ed, if Eric, after Eric has his turn, it will roll over to Larry. Break for time. I see the propagation map is yellowish and orange, and so if our friends then in Ohio are active, we might hear from them today. Over to Wes. This is WNS.
And well, welcome to the next Ed. Glad to have you. And good morning, Larry. Morning, which is bad. On this frequency, I was hearing Kalamazoo very clearly, in and out, but 100% copy at times. And I know that it was the Kalamazoo station, the Kalamazoo network actually, because of the courtesy tone, which is characteristic to them. Now, Ed, there was what we might call a quasi-early bird edition, just qualify for an early bird edition. About maybe 20 minutes to or something, I had a brief QSO with Ralph, AA8RK. I had to sign off on that, though, because I was pulling into a gas station. So there was a little bit of activity on this repeater shortly before the net. Let me hand it down to Eric. This is Henning Chuck.
Well, like everyone else has mentioned, Ed, if you're still listening, that you pretty much called it, because right as you said you were about to lose everybody is when you kind of faded out. So you pretty much nailed your environment pretty well there. And Larry, don't worry at all about asking all the questions. I don't mind talking about it. I kind of enjoy it. But to give you a little bit more information, that module is not so much a single board computer, but it's a microcontroller that has some wireless functionality built into it. It's more like a glorified Arduino rather than an actual like a single board computer like a Raspberry Pi. It's not powerful enough to really run a whole operating system, but it can be programmed in the Arduino environment. And that particular board that I sent you, if you notice in the pictures, the 3 transistors that it has on it, it runs a driver circuit that allows me to control a full-color RGB LED strip. The 3 transistors drive the red, green, and blue color channels, and I can use pulse width modulation to vary the pulse width of each transistor to determine which colors I get out of the overall strip. So that's what those do. With that, we'll try Ed again if he's still in there, and if not, I guess it'll go over to Larry from NAWV. Go ahead, Ed.
NAWV. KA8IMZ. Good morning.
Alrighty, sorry guys, I was choking on my coffee here for no reason, not because you entered, Mike, only because I tried to breathe the coffee. Anyway, very good, and good morning, Mike, and good morning, Wes. I did not say that to you before, and Ed. So thanks very much again. I was going to ask you if you would have suffered one more question, and that was once again what you just gave. Two items really. What was the in words function of what you were doing? And I understand completely what you're saying, and very interesting, good application. And the other thing is, I was going to ask you, and this I would know if I had had a chance. I was working on taxes yesterday, but if I had had a chance to look up the board, then I would have found out. But as you said, it's and the board itself, description-wise, says it's completely compatible with Arduino, which means I assume it uses the same software, and that's the part that I was going to ask you to confirm today. So, very good. Well, Mike, good to hear from you. By golly, I am in a situation where I think I'm going to be pretty much finishing up my taxes today, and I'm not going to try to mail them in for a bit. I need some more time for checking. But over to you, sir, because I am going to look at that 440 radio and make sure I could maybe get it fired up, Mike. KA8IMZ, over to you, sir.
Yeah, Roger. Okay, very good. I just jumped in. Jim, who do I send it to after I'm done here? Most recent person who checks in is on the wheel next to me, so that person would pass it to me, W8S6. Good morning, Mike.
Mike's question, he'll hand it to KD8IM, and I'll hand it to you. Good morning.
Oh, okay, very good. Good morning there, Howard. Top of the morning. It looks like another beautiful spring day. At least I like to think spring. And I just turned on the radio right in the middle of Eric's transmission. So I'll get myself in rotation here, and I think it goes over to you there, Howard. Top of the morning.
Good morning. Yep, I just jumped in there just like I did for you yesterday there. Just good timing. I was ready to start transmitting. I've been listening the whole time there, but I was texting back, talking to some of my friends over in Minnesota about the Quang Sheng they just picked up there. Last night he was working on it. He said, all I can get is static on it. Well, no matter what he does, he can't squelch the static. It sounds like, after talking to him, almost like the calibration table for the squelch, since it's all in software, has got a null value sent in there, something like that. But he could pick up the local repeater when there's some transmissions on it, since I poked it to EchoLink 1. So it's picking up stuff, so it's just a matter of getting it tweaked and tuned in there. And then having some talking about some of the firmware that he has found overnight there. So, good morning. Yeah, it's a little cooler. But it'll warm up. It's supposed to be in the 40s, I believe, today. So, taxes. Yeah, I actually got mine done last weekend. And I'll send 10 to all the places they need to be there. And the Michigan one, it wasn't worth doing the e-file. Oh, I never e-file anyways. But it was only $10 off. And if I say to submit it, I would owe $10. And that sort of defeats the purpose. So on paper it went in the mail on Monday. This is AT8.8.
This is W8STX, and good morning to Mike and to Howard. Howard, a little bit. You're usually solid into the repeater with no hiss on your signal, but today propagation is pretty strong, and so an extra little bit of power would be helpful on your signal. And with that, over to, and I'll say good morning to Al, K8WXQ, who's probably listening on the HT this morning. Good morning, Al. Over to US. This is W8STX.
At AQM, well, let me echo that same sentiment. Good morning, Al, listening in on HT. Hey, good morning, Mike, and good morning, Howard. And, taxes, I have an excuse. I'm doing handmaiden. I don't think that's a good enough excuse. But my Q4 sales tax will be due in just a few days, so I got to get cooking on that. Now, we still have not had a KF8 station login. Recall, the FCC began assigning a F8 Kilo Frank 8 call signs about a month ago. And I forgot, hopefully, Jim, you wrote down, a couple of us estimated when was the first time, when will be the first time when a new KF8 station logs in. It will happen. It's just a matter of when. Let me send it down to Eric, and he comes.
W8MAP.
Good morning, Mike and Howard, Matt. Good to hear you guys this morning. I have not heard any of the KF8 calls either, so I guess we'll have to wait and see if anybody does check in with one. I'm curious how many they've actually since they started assigning them a month ago. So it's kind of a game in statistics to see how long it'll be before we get one. The boards, Larry, they are programmable in Arduino, but I don't use the Arduino programming environment. I don't use their IDE. I use something different that's a little bit more flexible and a lot more powerful than just the Arduino IDE itself. But you can use it. You just have to install the support for that particular board. There's a hoops you got to jump through to get the boards loaded into the software, but there's plenty of documentation online for that. But they're fun little boards to play with if microcontroller programming is something you want to get into. These things can do a lot more than just flash and LED. Don't have much to add on this one. I'm still not sure if Ed is around or if he signed on his last transmission, but we'll try, and if nothing, it'll go over to Larry at NA.TV.
Alrighty, guys. Well, nothing heard from Ed yet. If you're listening, 7-3, see you. And, Mike, I'm very sorry. It seems like in the occurrences recently when you would come in following me and I hand it to you, I never seem to think to myself I ought to tell you who to turn it to. Because usually it's to go back to Jim. But I should get back in the habit of doing that. I apologize. And good morning to Howard, 88 AM, and Matt, always great to hear from you, W8MAP. I know you're busy, and I know we'll probably get a chance to hear what things you're tackling today. Like I was saying, I expect to wind down on taxes, and then I will get back to looking at that board and learning a little bit more about it. Eric, thanks again. I get to play. I guess in the sense of following what other people are doing, so that's my play right now. But it is interesting. Thanks for being patient there, Eric. And Mike, what's on your weekend upcoming here and today? I look forward to, like we had talked about, getting back and testing out a few things here, frequency-wise, bands-wise, the 440, and maybe, if I can find an antenna, even 6 meters. But one thing at a time. So, Howard, good to hear from you, and Matt, so go ahead, Mike, KA8IMZ from NABWB and the group.
NHDUY, repeater.
Yeah, Roger. Okay, very good there, Larry. Well, I'm going to be out this morning for a little bit. and then this afternoon I'll be home, so there's no problem there. And this weekend, except for a Saturday night dinner engagement, I'm pretty much home over the weekend as well. So looking forward to spring, I guess, out here. So KF, I guess that's where the FCC is at. That's interesting. My call is from 1979, KA. So it took all those years to get from A to F. I'm not sure if that's the case, but if it is, that's pretty cool. I've also, I want to throw this out, I've also been following the lunar lander that landed yesterday on the moon. Private industry, SpaceX launch, I guess, and what was interesting to me, you know, we talk about, and we have software-defined radios today, where, you know, if you want to upgrade, you go on the internet and then you download software to your radio. Well, there was a glitch on the lunar lander as it was approaching and landing on the moon, and they had a problem with it, I guess in the orientation for landing. And what was cool was, well, no problem, we'll just send it revised software, and the revised software actually worked, and it landed. So I thought that was pretty cool. Over to you, Howard. This is KA8IMZ.
All right. Thank you, Mike there. Always good to hear you chatting there. Yeah, it's just getting my sea legs under me for the day there, seeing what's going on there. Checking out its work. It looks like the cellular outage may be over there, or at least dwindled down, so that'll be good. It was not a whole lot of fun yesterday. It didn't result in extra work there, but every time there was any hint that something may have happened, we had to be right on top of it because we couldn't even trust our paging system to let us know that we had something to look into. So always fun that I got drug into something based on that was totally out of my bailiwick. But it's always good around here to put in a good face there and help people out there. As Larry probably remembers that yeah, Ford can have a whole lot of different fiefdoms going on, and being aligned and having various small petty rulers or the princes of the different realms as your friend is a good thing there. And hopefully I have to talk to one of my friends. She has applied to her manager's position to get a promotion up to that, and I was helping her with the resume last week. So hopefully the closing on that was yesterday. So hopefully sometime this morning she'll have word of how many people actually applied to it and where that stands. Because she seemed to be the blessed one, since they did say, you should apply for this job, which almost always means that unless someone else that is going to jump in that's higher up the chain, you're going to get it. So always a good thing. So this is 88IM, rolling it on over to WHFCX. Or I mean Matt. No, I'm not going to skip you, Matt. I'm sorry, I almost did. WMAP to take it.
W8MAP, good morning, guys. Jim, Wes, Eric, Ed, I guess, Larry, Mike, and Howard. And no worries, Howard, about passing over. I'd get in the next round or whatever. In fact, you were going, and I was like, is there anybody between me and Howard? I think he's going to pass it to somebody else. So, but anyways, I had just received Al's WXQ's email. Mike, relevant to you because he said he's going to stick with his regen receiver, and he sent pictures of that again instead of going with the Grundig FR200. I think that's what that was that you sent pictures of yesterday. I was just wondering if Al might consider putting a crank power supply on his regen receiver. You know, get a little battery in there and a crank up power supply. Maybe that'll put him in the same league as your Grundig. Hi. This morning I realized spring is coming, and for me that means allergies. So I've got a
refresh all the filters and the different things or clean them out. I've got a whole house, well, it's not really the whole house, let's say the upstairs 2 levels. It's a HEPA filter, a Venmar 2000 it's called. It's been in the house since we moved in, so I've just been supplying it with filters, and I didn't really understand it at first when I moved in, but then I realized the utility of it really does filter out a lot of allergens. It draws fresh air in from outside and does an exchange. So I think I found a filter on Amazon. It's always tricky to find these filters, and they range anywhere from like $60 to $160. That latter price is ridiculous. It's just a big money maker for them, whoever's selling it. But so I'm trying to find a source, and I got to figure out, make sure it's the right size. I'm not seeing the information I need on this listing. So sometimes it's a shot in the dark. Usually it's worked out, but we shall see. I'll keep it moving here and get it. Well, let's see if somebody else wants to check in. Any new hams, perhaps? I'm the last on the list, so to speak, this morning. So maybe you'd like to add yourself to the end. Just throw your call sign out there, and we'll wait a second, and then Jim will pick it up if nobody else calls. This is W8MAP.
W8M Mobile. W8.FM to join. Nothing for this round, though. I'll catch it on the next.
Good morning to Ed, W8EM, Ed Mike, Whiskey 8 Zulu Foxtrot Mike. Ed, why don't you go ahead and take a round? It sounds like you're mobile, and pass it to me, and then on the next round, you'll pass it to Mike, but Mike wants to get passed on this round. Go ahead, Ed.
Good morning, everybody. This is Ed, WV. I heard an earlier round. I guess I'm Ed number 2. Mobile, if you want, I'm on this.
Good morning.
And it's 7-3. This is W8S6. Let me see if I've got it. Ed, unfortunately, we got none of your instruments. We got syllables, a few words at the very beginning of your transmission, and then we lost everything else. I saw signal on my audio scope, but we didn't hear the audio. So maybe you'll be in a better position on the next round to be heard this time. So hopefully that will be the case. And looks like it's about 33 degrees here in Commerce Township, going up to about 43 degrees. And yeah, looks like a pretty nice day. Partly sunny. Over to West, this is WNSX. NHBUY, repeater.
NAQ, good morning, Matt. Ed and Mike, number 2. I echo Jim's sentiments on your transmission, Ed, but I think we know from history that the quality of your transmissions changes with the minute. So I'm not ready to write you off at all. I'm betting on the next go around when your turn comes comes up, we're going to hear you much, much better. Let me hand it over to Eric. This is Annie. Come.
Well, good morning, Ed, W80MZ, and Mike, W8ZFM. Good to hear you guys this morning. Yeah, Ed, you were pretty rough on that last transmission, so hopefully next time around you get to a better spot where you can get a better reach into the repeater. And Jim, I heard you pretty good on the input over here at 15 Mile and Drake over here in West Bloomfield as I make my way out towards Birmingham. I was going to try taking 696 across. I took map and no, so I'm taking the surface street yet. As far as taxes, yeah, I've been kind of slacking on too, and I need to get that done too. So that'll probably be my week for one of them, anyway. Not too much going on though. I was going to say something else, but train of thought's getting derailed. I will just keep it moving along and send it over to Larry from ASPB.
Alrighty, very good, Eric. And once again, good morning to you, Ed. And yes, indeed, like Jim said, didn't hear much at all. Sorry about that. Good to hear from you, though, Ed. And W8ZFM, Mike, we'll be looking forward to hearing from you here at the bottom of the wheel, which is not a flat tire. Anyway, very good. And Mike, in regard to radio play time, I don't even know that I get a chance to be doing that today, but I'm going to try to at least dig it out, make sure it's fire-upable. But I would definitely give you a text or a cell phone call and let you know, and then we can set up a time and a day, which is probably not going to be today. But, so don't worry about that. No hurry. I know you got stuff you're doing too, but we'll figure that out, and that'll be fun. So with that, let me move it along over to you, Mike. And guys, I'll be good for about one more, I think, here, and then I've got to get started on the day here. KA8IMZ from NABWB and the group, and good morning to Al if you're listening. KA8WXQ, Al. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, Roger. Okay, very good, Larry. Well, you know that they say that KAWXQ is always listening, but you know I'm not sure if that's the case or not. Sometimes he may not even turn the radio on because he's so busy doing other fun stuff. But you never know. Maybe we'll find out if he really is listening today. So very good. Matt, yeah, I should explain to the group here. My wife and I went to two estate sales yesterday, and we do periodically, and we pick up odds and ends, that sort of thing. And yesterday, there was this Grundig little portable unit, FR200, and it's one of those power generator radios, which I do not have. And I subscribe to the thinking that you can never have too many radios, so I picked it up for $10. I thought the price was pretty good. And it's quite a performer. I was listening to some shortwave stations yesterday as well, last night, and it's got two shortwave bands, 3.2 to 7.6, and then 9.2 to 22 megahertz. In addition to AM and FM, so it's got batteries, and you could actually plug it into a DC if you wanted to, which I do not have, but I might have one laying around in the junk box. But anyway, it's a fun little thing, and I thought the price was right. So anyway, I'll keep it moving, and I probably good for one or two more here as I'm looking at the clock. Ed, I just want to mention before I go ahead to move it on, if I remember correctly, I know we haven't talked for a while because I haven't been on so much, but you are quite a bit pedestrian mobile, so that might be some of the issues. I'm not sure how close you are to the repeater. Over to you, Howard, and
This is KA8IMZ. Now, is your shack warm, Howard, out in your wooded Freedom Township? Go ahead.
This is I am, and indeed, it is comfortable in the shack there. Now the temperatures are a little bit warmer and there's not too much of a stiff breeze. It takes very little for the heater to keep things up to temperature there. When it's cold out there, once it hits, I don't know, probably about somewhere mid-teens, maybe 17, 18, the floor starts staying really cool there since they need skirts on the building there. But yeah, it is very comfortable, and the sun's shining in, that helps a lot. And doesn't help a whole lot with my afternoon productivity though some days after lunch there. Get ready to have a snooze, so it's a good thing I have removed the recliner from out here. Yeah, that would be good there. But yeah, it's quite nice in the shack there. And I'm hoping to hear again from KE8PMK Chuck there when he hears back from those firearm gunsmiths list that he's on about what they think about that really weird looking coloration on the one. So that'd be good, because I'd like to know if that's just going to be a wall hanger forever, or if I could black powder shoot it, which is what it was designed for, and take that out. But yeah, that's the nice thing about here. It's nice and rustic. Put those old designs in there, like an old cabin there. So all good. And I don't know. I think Al's probably out busy touring Vegas with his Elvis act, and then maybe a little bit of his own Al on the side there. Hey, hi. All good there. And one thing that my wife was telling me, speaking of wooded Freedom Township there, my wife saying, she said, yeah, something up was up next door. She heard the neighbor yell once, and the ducks all going crazy and coyotes howling. So I think coyotes were out by his fence. He told me earlier this week that we need to go out one evening there because they're starting to harass his ducks. So maybe that'll have to be some wildlife management going on this weekend. W8MAP to take it from 88IM in the group.
Oh, W8MAP, yeah, not a lot of anything new here for this round. I was just continuing to research on that filter, and I'm thinking it looks like they've got the model number, but the sizing is wrong, so I've got to keep hunting here, which is usually the case until I finally find something. Mike, good on that Grundig. That sounds nice. I've got the YB400 PE, I think it is, battery one, and I can't remember how many batteries it takes. Does it take 4 or 6? But, or 3, I don't remember. It's in my office at the church, so I can turn on the radio whenever I want to listen to anything, or take a break from the studies and whatnot. And that was courtesy Al also, very nice little gift. So, yeah, it's hard to have too many radios, I have to say. It's good to have, one at every turn, so to speak, and so it's nice to try different ones out. I've got one here, a receiver that says pretty wide band, and I've got to work on that a little bit. I haven't got to really exercise too much, although one night I was spinning through the FM band and trying to find out what I could receive from my dipole antenna that I use for HF, so that was kind of a neat exercise. But all right, I think it goes from me to W8EMV Ed. If I'm incorrect, somebody else will fix us up here. But this is W8MAP over to W8EMV.
NHDUY repeater. And this is K8WXQ. Thank you very much.
Mike, ZFM, go ahead.
Okay, I was just given ample time there. I could have sworn that Ed was saying he was bicycle mobile and a one and done, but yeah, those are some pretty broken syllables coming through. Well, Eric and Howard, sorry we couldn't meet up on 10 yesterday, but the activation did go okay after that. I just switched over to FT8 and grabbed, I think 15 QSOs in 30 minutes. That was good, and then had to pack up and get to my meeting. And that was a good start to my day yesterday. That was fun. I'm going to have to check in on the lunar lander. It's something that interests me, but I just haven't had the time. Last night when I got home, my mom came over and helped her with a few things. Good time. And man, it is a beautiful Friday. Good morning to everybody. And it's a little nippy out, but it is a beautiful day with that sun coming down and little light clouds in the sky driving through the rolling hills down here. So good start to my week. And my question for Al is, I know you play pretty much anything with keys. Do you play accordion as well? Go ahead, this is W8ZFM.
Have I got it?
Echo on your signal, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I think you turned it over to me, KE8WXQ. Here, another repeater coming in this morning. And I just want to stop by. It's Friday. Say good morning. Yeah, I've had some medical stuff going on. I just got off the phone with the St. Joe there. I got a procedure that I got scheduled for next week. Next Thursday, I think it is. So 28th. So had some issues here. My wife's had some issues, so I just haven't been able to get on as often. I'll say hello to Mike and Larry, everybody, Howard, everybody. Thanks for thinking about me. Just been a lot going on here lately, and I like your radio there, Mike. I've been playing with my 832A Twinplex tube regen receiver. That's kind of a cool thing. I really like to mess with that when I get time. I haven't been doing much with radio in 3 weeks now. There's been some medical issues with my wife, so I've had to step up to the plate and do some laundry. There's things I've had to do around the house that I normally do not do. So, well, I'll say 73s, and I'll be listening out for now. Say, oh, Matt heard you in there too. Yeah, little radios are a lot of fun. I'm building an AM transmitter right now when I get that kit back on the bench. Got the taxes done and can get that back on there. It's from the Antique Wireless Association, a little synthesized digital tuning type AM. It's two boards. It's one's takes the place of a crystal, and then the other one is the actual little transmitter board, so you can play a CD or something into whatever into the old AM radios. I've got an FM box, but stereo FM transmitter, which I have to keep that whip antenna on. I put that out on the Ringo antenna one day, and it went out a mile. I couldn't believe it. Nice, clear, crisp, clear stereo. So I didn't want to get in trouble. So I just was testing one day. I got in the car, went a mile away. I was getting a transmission. So 73s, everybody. No Elvis, and the question on the accordion. Well, I have played a button box accordion, but just fooling around with that, but not knowing what I'm doing. But I could make some music, and that's about it. But no accordion. We did have one of my nephews did take accordion lessons. I don't know what happened to that accordion years ago. But I haven't been on the keyboards either. Everything seems like 3 weeks here everything came to a halt. 73s, everybody. I'll be listening on the HT KE8WXQ. Good morning, Jim.
WB0RMN. RM. Morning, Larry. Go ahead and take a round and pass to me, W8STX, and 73 to you, Al. Good to hear you on the radio. Go ahead, Larry.
Well, I've been listening for a bit and searching for something on the computer that I can't find, which is kind of normal for me. You guys are talking about can't have enough radios. I've had a lot of radios. I abandoned and gave away a lot of radios when I moved here from Iowa. I do have a large Grundig satellite 800 receiver over here on the desk. It's very large, it's portable, it will take D-size batteries, and also it's powered with a power pack, which is what I use. It's a very fine radio, but it's getting old. But I enjoy listening to it because it has a great sound. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jim. W8STX, WD0R.
This is W8STX. Larry, good to hear you on the radio this morning. And Eric, on your last round, I switched over to the input to see if I could hear you, and I could hear you much better on the input than I could on the repeater. So that was interesting. And Larry, yes, this weekend is taxes for me. I have a three-stage situation where I have an input phase, then I have review 1 and review 2. And so I finished with the first part. I do review 1 this weekend, and maybe review 2 the weekend after that, and then maybe I'll submit my taxes early, break the time. And Mike, KA8IMZ, Mike, yeah, the lunar lander thing, I would call that a qualified success so far. I want to see more data. I want to see telemetry on the actual touchdown. I'd like to see pictures. We haven't seen pictures yet. And Matt, how's Doc Maui doing for you? Over to Wes. This is W8STX.
This is NAQM. I'm looking at the clock. Gotta say my 73s and resume my handmaiden duties. Although, let me say, Sandy is getting more independent each day. Okay, so 73s, and good morning, Al, and good morning, Larry O. So, and let me remind everyone listening on the repeater this morning, this is an open net. Any licensed amateur is warmly encouraged to check in and be counted, especially if you have a KF8 series call sign. So, NAQM 73s, I'm going to be listening out as I hand it to Eric. 73s, folks.
NHDUY repeater. The downtown. Looking up parts for that filter or anything, shoot me an email with his work that we include an HVAC supplier, and I'm sure he could probably help with anything you needed. So if you're interested, let me know through email. And with that, not too much else to add. I will listen out, but I will say 7-3. Hope everyone has a good weekend, and we'll catch you Monday. So over to, I think Mike or Larry's still good for one more. So over to Larry from NFTV. 7-3.
Alrighty, very good, Eric, and have a great day yourself, and enjoy your weekend. And good morning to you, Larry, WB0RMN. And Mike, sounded like you had fun there. I think you said 10 meters, so great fun there. And Howard, good luck on that issue you were talking about, and hope that works out. And I'm looking through my list here at W8ZFM. I said good morning, but I'll say it again. I think that covers everyone. Al, good morning to you, sir, and hope you have a fine day today, and we'll be hearing from you soon, I'm sure. So with that, guys, I am going to sign, and we've got a lot of guys in this morning, so that's great. Over to you, Mike, KA8IMZ from NABWB, and I'm signing out, guys. 7 3s.
Yeah, Roger. Okay, very good. Larry, let's see if I have it. I think I've got it. Yeah, fine. Jim, it came on the news that it landed yesterday, and the telemetry, I think, is coming in, but I haven't caught up with it this morning just to see. But I've been watching a couple of specials. You know, I stream everything out here, so I've been watching a couple of specials. One was on kind of the history and the development of SpaceX. And the other one, which is impressive as all get out, you know, I remember going for a walk with my wife in 1969 when we landed on the moon, and it was such a big to do. I even remember what I was doing, which is unusual for me, but there's a great special out there on the program coming up next year, and that's putting a man on the moon. This time there's an African American, a Canadian, and a woman, I guess, from what I observed on this special. And Boeing and NASA are actually right now testing a huge rocket. I mean, this thing can put one heck of a payload. I mean, the scale is just impressive. Anyway, I thought it was pretty interesting, so I've been following it a little bit. And Larry, RMN, I have that radio that you're talking about. It's on the other side of the shack here, and I think I've had it for a good 25, 30 years, and it's a great performer. Given the right antenna, you can really pull in the shortwave station. So it's another, to say it's portable, I guess, is a little bit pushing it. You know, it's a good size. You could certainly pick it up with a handle. But anyway, that's interesting. I think I will say my 7-3. I will listen out. And Al, good morning. I'm glad you made it, that you came out of the woods. As they say, good luck with all your medical issues. I know sometimes things come up, and doggone it, you know, you just can't get to your hobby as much as you want to. So that happens. It's part of life. And I will keep it moving. Howard, over to you. This is KA8IMZ.
I am. Well, have a great day, everyone who's departed so far, and this will also be my 73 round, looking at the time and trying to do double duty. My focus here at work is not doing so great this morning. Plus, I need another mug of coffee. That first one went down very quickly today. So good morning. Before I forget, to WB0RMN. Always good to hear you, and good to hear you, Al, and goodbye as well. Always good. And I don't have enough radios. I have some, but I'm still early on into the ham experience, so definitely could use a few more entertaining radios there. Looking to order. I have stuff set up to order from Amazon, but I need to create a second account for it there. I have a rewards credit card from Work Virtual One to use, and I want to hook it up, and worked really hard to get it to exactly $100 there. I think I'm like 2 or 3 cents short of it after arranging things, but going to get some Quing Changs and play with those, get a pair and back and forth. So that looks like that'll be a lot of fun, especially I love working in the software, so the firmware being editable on those is going to be fantastic. And yeah, more antennas. Antennas are everything.
for listening there. And I'm always surprised when I hear the remaining shortwave radio here in the U.S. there. Once in a while I'll tune into that. So probably another radio that I can do instead of having to use my IC-705 would be very handy for that as well. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about taxes. It's frustrating, but I'm happy to have them done. And normally I do like Jim does, take a pass, come back in a week or two, double check it, and then maybe come back after a month and make sure the stuff is still good and that they haven't tried to change the rules at the last minute. And if I owe money, it goes in the day before the deadline. Wait for the last minute. There's no need to give them extra money, hands on it for longer there. I didn't mention it earlier. I think I was thinking about it, but I don't think I mentioned it, is that this weekend out in Charlotte, south of Lansing, is the Michigan Nordic Fire Festival. And they have a website about what goes on there with all those words in order, just crammed together. I think it's .org, might be .com, it's something like .something. But yeah, I think I might wander out to that there. A little bit of kind of variations on the historical reenactment for the live groups there, the Vikings there, and then some other stuff. All right, my radio's beeping at me. My time is done here. Have a great day, gentlemen. W8MAP to take it from 88 IM.
W8MAP. Well, have a good morning, Howard, and good to hear you there from Freedom Township. Keep it free. Yeah, on the, I think, Eric, you were saying when you were checking out there that you were offering to have me send you a note on that filter. I just did that, so you'll see what I'm looking at. I think the listing is on Amazon is just sloppy. It's got incorrect dimensional information on the product, but I'm pretty sure that it actually would fit. But I certainly would take input from somebody on your side who knows what they're talking about with filters, because I know you do a lot of that sort of stuff. And it sounds like your supplier may be able to give me a lead on something. So that would be very nice. Thank you for that. Jim, you asked about .NET Maui. It's gone on vacation, I guess I would have to say. Haven't been able to look at it too much more. It's one of the zillions of tabs open in my browser that never seems that I get back to it to actually finish watching the video series or reading the article. And so it's still yet in the future, as is Larry's Linux Docker installation, another one of those things I do want to look at because it might have some benefit in my development side of things, although I'm doing some pretty simple stuff. I was doing some programming earlier this week. Another thing I'm trying to source is some LED 4-foot tubes, light bulbs. We have a lot of those fixtures at our building, probably at least 200. And we have a lot of T8 tubes, which are more efficient than the old T12. Late breaker time. NHBUY repeater. But those tubes, I've got to start replacing some of the older T12s and try to get some of the rooms a little more efficient on the lighting side. Plus the ballasts are humming away, and they're going to die or flame out at some point, which nobody ever likes to experience that. It doesn't bother me because I've had it happen several times, and you just turn the switch off and go up there and pull it down and deal with the oily mess that comes out of it. Hoping there are not too many PCVs in that oil, but anyways, so I think I found 20 packs over at Lowe's that if you buy 3 or more packages, you get a pretty decent price on. I think I'm able to beat Gross Electric on the pricing, so both pricing, so that's a good lead, and I think I'm going to try some of those and see, although I've been using some ones from Batteries Plus, and I don't know if they're going to ask to wire it up differently or not. The Batteries Plus ones are, all these are bypass, ballast bypass, and I'm rewiring the fixtures and having others help me rewire the fixtures, but anyways, you just wire 120 directly to the 2 pins on the bulb on one end for the Batteries Plus fixtures, but I'm not sure how the GE ones do that. So I think we might standardize on GE and just go with that. Hopefully it's just wire it up to one end because that's just much more convenient. And quick other things, and then I got to run. Hobby time is limited, and yeah, Al and I were just talking about that. We'd like to do some RIDI, but we got to find some time. And then who was it talking about? Howard on the Quan Sheng. Yeah, that is a neat thing. So hopefully you'll get some good experience with that, and I might try that out as well at some point. So, guys, I got to say 73. This is W8MAP, and I think I'm passing it down to Mike, W8ZFM.
Mike, can I jump in for a quick second?
Go ahead.
Yeah, Roger, Matt, I was listening out. One thing you might want to do is check out the pricing at Menards. We have a Lowe's and Menards here. Menards sometimes has a tendency to be a little bit cheaper than Lowe's. Now, I've replaced all my basement fluorescents with LEDs. I have replaced every transformer from the original installation. And the LED that I'm using, the strip LED, works with the existing transformer. And I thought their prices were quite good. Now, I haven't bought 300, but you might take a look at that if you haven't done so. I just thought I'd mention it. 7-3, everybody have a good day. Any comments, Matt? Or if not, back to Mike. Thanks, guys.
W8MAP, yeah, hey, thanks, Mike. I kind of lose track of Menards because it's over on the opposite side of town, but I will check them out. Thank you very much, and over to Mike. KEGX.
Hey, Ron, I'm pretty sure you're going to follow WB0RMN. I'm pretty sure he's still in there. But 73 to everyone before me in the roundtable. Pretty sure everyone there signed, so good to talk with all you this morning. Yeah, I've done, 50 or so of the ballast bypass, and I always go for the single-ended ones myself. They seem to just be the easiest to rewire and more plentiful to find. I think the last time I did Home Depot, but I was only doing 20. But I've got some guys that have bought them off of like 1000bulbs.com and whatnot, and all the ones I put in, most of them have been great. Haven't really had issues with hardly any of them, knock on wood. Just thinking about that. But yeah, I've replaced T12s and T8s, and definitely a good way to go there. I forgot what I was gonna. Oh, if Al's still listening. Well, it's getting to be about the time of year. And the kids haven't been sick recently, so maybe I'll take you up on the mag loop antenna, checking that out sometime when you've got time, or maybe meet you at the amp outing or something. Other than that, I'm just going to keep it going over to Larry, WB0RMN. This is W8ZFM.
Okay, Mike, very good. Well, get out of here. Gotta take some put my socks on. And Rom just checked in, so I'm going to turn it over to Rom and say 7-3 to the group. Been good listening to you guys this morning. I wish I had more to contribute. Hey, WB0RMN. Good morning, Rom. 7-3 to the rest. WB0RMN is clear.
Oh, Larry, RMN Larry at least, yeah. Maybe you could have used some of your reflections on the first moon landing in this one, Yeah, still not the human one, but, would have been interesting. There's always something interesting that you have to say, so I don't know what you feel. Left out on that. Anyway, just joined in, heard a zombie, pretty much it, so I gotta keep the wheel rolling along and see if Jim has anything interesting. Over to you, Jim, W8STX, Kilo Echo 8, Uniform Echo X-Ray.
morning. And it's 7-3.
This is W8SX, and I thought I'd leave a little pause there to see if somebody else wanted to check in. You are listening to the weekday morning roundtable on this frequency. It's an open roundtable. It's open to all licensed amateurs in the listening area. Just fill out your call sign. We'd be glad to put you in rotation. We start about 8 o'clock in the morning, weekdays, on this frequency, and we go till at least 8:30 if propagation allows. But oftentimes, like today, we do talk longer. It all depends on how many people check in and how long people have to talk on the radio. And good morning to you, Ron, KE8UEX. Good to hear you in here this morning. And I have to say 73 to a bunch of people who checked out on the last round. Larry, Mike, KA8IMC, Mike, Howard, Matt, and Al. Yeah, it's been a while. And so, yeah, good to hear you guys on the radio. Break time. And Mike, KA8IMC, who's listening out. Yeah, NASA's Artemis program to send him back to the moon. Well, the Artemis rocket, it's a big, it's really a large thing, you know, it's just a rocket. Then there's the Orion capsule that goes on top, and, you know, it has a crew module, it has a European service module, it has an abort system to get out of the atmosphere and get on the way to the moon. But, you know, that program also requires that there be a gateway vehicle circling the moon so that the Orion capsule docks with the gateway, and then the gateway will also dock with the lander that actually takes you down to the moon. And well, we're still waiting on that vehicle to be named. There are several candidates, but we're waiting on it. Over to let's see, break time. It looks like it goes over to Mike, K8ZFM, who will pass it to Ron. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, I'm sure I'm at my end of my rope, so I'll say 73. And if you can still hear me, Jim, I sent that email over to my mom. I appreciate that. And I'll catch you guys next week. And maybe Will and I will get out and do some POTA this weekend. That's the hope. 73, everybody. W8ZFM listening out.
NHDUY repeater.
All right, 73, I think I have it. RMN, Larry, you did sign, correct? KE8UEX. Okay, indeed I do. Okay, I am actually flat-footed here, caught flat-footed. I really have not a lot to say this morning other than, you know, enjoying the slightly warming trend, at least temporarily. Maybe tonight there's going to be another cold night here. Well, what has been happening on my world? Yeah, just getting my usual, morning photo activation. Oh, something interesting did happen yesterday. Yesterday morning, I, for the first time, managed to capture a station from Oregon and Arizona. That early in the morning on 40 meters isn't something I have been used to, but I was glad when someone responded. Let me buy a second. First up, it's surprising. It's mighty early there, probably around 4 a.m. in the morning, but there are hunters apparently out there, so maybe they were looking for DX on the Japan or something like that, and caught this. But it is a welcome thing. I'm not complaining. Other than that, not a lot. Maybe I do the occasional, activations over the weekend because I do have to head over to Ann Arbor site tomorrow to pick my kid back up because I think they're on break next week. So I might try to squeeze in something there tomorrow, and then we will see how the rest of the day is going. It's supposed to be cold, but let me see if I can wing it. Other than that, Jim, what's going on in your quota plans? I know you had your quota for the month, but maybe are you reconsidering? Over to you. This is Kilo Echo 8, Uniform Echo X-Ray.
This is W8STX. I thought I'd leave a little pause there and see if somebody else wanted to check in. And Rom, you're correct. I do have my POTA goal for February met. Actually, I think I went out twice in February. So, yeah, more than met my goal. I don't know whether I'm going to go out this weekend or not. I have recently had some vehicle challenges. My stepson started a job, and if he would these, how in European royalty they always lend some kind of moniker to the end of the name, like Red the Terrible or something Longshanks, Edward Longshanks. Well, his moniker would be Unready. So he doesn't have his own car, but provided the money for that car. He's best to go get that car, yeah, we're waiting on that. So I have some challenges. We're getting out during the week, which is what I prefer to do, because on the weekends the bands are very, very crowded, and I do like to call CQ, and it's hard to find a good spot. Over to you, Rob. This is W8STX.
I agree, Jim. Yeah, weekends, especially on the SSB side of things, I wouldn't be able to do it for sure. I mean, there's pretty much everywhere you tune on the dial, there's something or the other going on. So, yeah, I agree. It is probably wise to stay off, at least during the peak times. Well, what else is there? Yeah. I'm thinking, yesterday evening as well, and on my 40-meter net, I was able to bag a Spanish station. Well, really not mainland Spain, but the Canary Islands. But that's the first. He's been on the net for quite a while, but yesterday was the first time I was hearing. So looks like we are having a temporary a propagation boon. I don't know how long that might last, but that was something that was fun to know. Let me buy a second. Other than that, been active on my photography thing as well, so I've been dusting out my cameras and, taking them on my activations in the mornings. It is nice, like I said, I think I mentioned that the sunrises are around the time that I'm there, so I've been able to yield some of that. So it's really, really coming, I was happy with that. For spring, still haven't started on the motorcycle riding part of things yet. It's all ready to go. I need to do a final checkup on the vehicles, and hopefully once the roads are slightly better shape, I might be able to do it. That's a little bit of a concern for me. Let me buy a second. This is probably the longest time I've had a hiatus from that, and every time you get back on, it is the first couple of days you're still a little raw, so I will gradually ease into that. So that's something I've been considering and making some plans for. What parks to activate, etc. Because I think I'm close to like the 50 uniques. Probably 48 or 49, somewhere thereabouts. So I'm looking for something new that reaches there to get the 50 uniques, I think. So that's the immediate goal, if I can call it a goal. And then we can see from whence where it goes. Over to you, Jim, W8STX. Kilo Echo 8, Uniform Echo X-Ray.
Kilo Echo 8, Tango Yankee Charlie, checking in, Captain Mike. Captain
Mike, go ahead and around and pass the W8STX Jim in Commerce Township. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I've been listening the whole time here. But yeah, I do a lot of POTA, or as much as I can, at least in the summertime. But yeah, since the weather's getting better, I'm anxious to do some POTA activations. But you know, I had my FT8 hooked up last year, and then I took a break from it, and I just can't get it to work again. So I bought a book here. It came in a few days ago, so I'm trying to learn, you know, the data modes without asking for help. But sounds like a lot of you guys are very knowledgeable. In the near future, I can pick your brains on the radio. This is KE8TYC.
KE8RK, in and out.
Hey, good morning, Ralph. W8STX, good morning, sir.
Good morning. You guys are doing well. I'm running around with you. But thanks for checking me in.
This is W8STX, and Ralph, good to hear you on the radio this morning. Wes was on earlier, and he said that he had an early morning QSO with you. So I guess I would surmise that that was on your way to exercise when you talked with Wes, but that would just be an assumption on my part. Break for time.
NHPUY, repeater.
Captain Mike, Kilo Echo 8, Tango Yankee Charlie. Howard, 88IM, who was on earlier, like I, also have an ICOM 705, but Howard has it set up to do FT8. And so you might pick his brain. I have not tried digital modes yet myself, but if you pick Howard's brain, he has recent success in that area with the radio that you have. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to Ron, and then I'll have more to say about other topics. Go ahead, Ron.
Okay, Jim. Really have nothing more to add other than this. I'll be listening in and see if something interesting comes up. One of the other things, Jim, you did bring up an automobile in relation to some other, the unready person. But I was wondering if you have a slightly long, what you call medium term update on your vehicle and how you've been liking it so far. I'm just interested on that. And morning, Captain Mike. I don't know, just didn't pay attention to what your issue was with running FT8. I mean, 705s are generally, have pretty much everything built in terms of sound cards and things like that. So I think all you need is some place to run, what is it, that driving program, I forget the name of that, WSJTX or something like that. So, over to you, Mike, and good morning, and 73 Ralph. This is Kilo Echo 8, Uniform Echo X-Ray.
Go ahead, Captain Mike, if you're still in there.
Yeah, I'm here. Just went on my break here. It's 9:15. But yeah, I had it going. Once I became a general, I had it going. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos and stuff like that, and I had it going. So that didn't do anything with FT8 or data modes for the last 6 or 8 months, and seems like my tablet's not interfacing with the radio.
So I bought a book, and I'm going to spend more time on it this evening. I'm sure it's something simple, but yeah, my time clock's working and stuff like that. I have a funny feeling something's going on with maybe the speakers or something. But yeah, I'm going to spend a lot more time this weekend, but then I'll start picking brains if I can't figure it out. So this is Kilo Echo 8, Tango Yankee Charlie, Captain Mike.
This is W8STX, and you're listening to the weekday morning roundtable on this frequency. It's an open roundtable. Just fill out your call sign. We'd be glad to put you in rotation. And Ron, I'm wondering whether you've been out to Hillcrest State Game Land. That's out near Howell. I was out there. If they didn't do much out there, the parking area is pretty easy, and it's pretty easy to find. Back to you, Ron. AE8UX. This is W8STX.
Negative on that, Jim, but I did hear you talking about it sometime last week or whenever you went out for the activation, and I did also know that you got a successful activation on the Porter website. And that might be a good consideration. That's within the orbit of what I would call a quick, probably an impromptu decision. But as you know, Jim, I tend to, let me put it in quotes, I tend to do activations in combination with other errands. I just don't like wasting fuel just for the purpose of activation or something like that, unless it's a ride, which means the ride becomes a primary purpose, so I'm fine with that. Since it's winter time, I have no occasion right now that takes me to the Howell area yet. So, but it's definitely in the back of mind. Thanks for reminding that, and I'll probably invent an opportunity to get over that way. How about that? Over to you, Mike. K8 Tango Echo Charlie, Tango Yankee Charlie, Kilo Echo 8 Uniform Echo X-Ray.
Echo 8, Tango Yankee Charlie, Captain Mike.
Mike, we heard you identify your station, but we didn't hear anything else. Were you saying your 73s, or did you have something to say and we just didn't hear it? Back to you. From Captain Mike, because I guess I'm going to temporarily put him down for 73, and Ron, that leaves just you and me. Yeah, I know what you're saying about not wanting to waste fuel. I've been planning some activations, but I was thinking that I need to meet my goal of adding 20 more parks to my list this year, and I wanted to do a fuel efficient manner. And I see 4 parks that I think I can probably do all in one day. They're not too far from me. They're to the north. They're north of Waterford, which is, Dodge number 4 State Park is there at Cass Lake and Waterford. If you wanted to do a road, you could do the Waterford, and then you could do the Game Land. I think it's the Davisburg Game Land, and then going a little bit further north, there's 2 in the Holly area. There's a recreation area, and then there's a Game Land over to the east of 75, and then there is Seven Lakes State Park, which is to the east. That's all doable in one day. But I've done Dodge, but the other 4 I haven't. I think I can do all 4, and that would be a lot of fun. And a little bit of work, but it should be fun. Back to you, Ron. This is W8STX.
Okay, Jim. With the exception of Davisburg, because there was some construction there and I wasn't able to get to it, I've done all the others. So, yeah, that'll be great. That's a fantastic, piece of land. But my eyes, like I said, when we talked about it a long time ago, my eyes are set westward. I mean, if I have to do it, there's quite a few that can be accomplished on the Lake Michigan shows too. But it's quite a haul. So I'm thinking if there's a camping trip or something that I might, do and, bundle it all together. Also, if I'm looking for a rover kind of thing, the best density of parks I have seen is along the US 2, near along the lake, southern shores of Lake Erie. Let me break here. I think there's probably 8 or 9 parks within a few miles of one another. I've done 3 of them at least. When I took my kids last summer to Cedar Point, well, I didn't go there. I dropped them off and then I spent the day at the parks. But I noticed there were quite a few more. I wasn't, really prepared on that trip. But there's another huge concentration. So if your journeys take you around that rampart, that might be something I will consider as well. Okay, Jim, I am also having them to go back to work and, focus on that. It was nice hearing you and the rest of the gang this morning. Hope to catch all of you next week. Have a great weekend, everyone. Let's try if Tango Yankee Charlie is still there. Otherwise, I'll send it over your way, Jim, WSDS. Peter Kuwait, Tango Yankee Charlie, if you're there, take it away. This is KEHUEX, saying 73.
NHBUY, repeater.
GHH dot. KG88 said, good morning, Jerry. Good to hear you on the radio this morning. You're up a little bit late, or maybe it's just about bedtime for you. Good evening to you, but good morning to everybody else. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, for activations this weekend, I guess the ionosphere might be iffy. The other day there was a X-class solar flare, so I think it would take 2 or 3 days to hit the Earth, so I don't know. We'll see. I think it like, the video I looked at, it like blew up over the Pacific region. I don't think it was any geographical area to speak of, but it's coming our way. So back to you there, Jim. KG887.
This is W8STX. Well, I have been out doing POTA activations. The day that I actually got my rover Warthog for 5 activations in the same UTC day, there was an X-class flare that hit, but it hit over the South America, but there was some activity here in the United States. But when it actually peaked out, I was actually traveling between parks, but I heard people complain that, 1 minute they could hear me, and the next minute I was gone. And they had said that they'd had that trouble with several other parks that they have been working. But yeah, it could be iffy, break for time. And Rom, if you're listening out, yeah, I thought about doing parks in Ohio along the southern Lake Erie, and I was thinking that if you had 2 days, you could go down and do 5 parks in Michigan along Lake Erie pretty easily on one day, and then when you finished up just north of Toledo, then you could drive all the way to like Port Clinton, which is not too far from Marblehead Lighthouse, and you could work your back doing. You could get at least 10 more parks on the way back the next day if you were up for do 15 parks over 2 days. Over to you, Jerry. This is WSN.
Okay, yeah, I recalled the guy's email or his YouTube. It was 13 hours ago that he put it up, and it's showing that like Hawaii got hammered. It's off the west coast, but it's mostly, like part of Australia got hammered. Our side of it. And then, all the associated islands out there. And that was at 22:44 UTC on the 22nd.
Well, that's very interesting, Jerry. I've been looking at the solar maximum projections, and it's looking like we're getting close to the solar maximum, but of course we won't know if we're at the maximum until we pass it. It's sort of like the stock market. You don't know whether you're at the top of the market or at the bottom of the market until you have passed it. But it's pretty interesting. I just have to keep up, but break the time. The others, when I was just starting out doing the photo this fall, I paid a lot of attention to the projections for, whether the propagation was good on 20 or 40 meters. But after some experience, I've decided to just ignore that information because I can make plenty of contacts even when the predicted propagation is poor. So not all that useful, but I guess an X-class flare would be something different. Back to you. This is W8STX, leaving a little pause to see if somebody else wants to join in.
Good morning. And it's 7-3.
KG88Z. Let me go on to QRZ here. See if I can get the regular page to come up. No, that's the wrong browser. Yeah, I don't know. I know it's 2 or 3 days later that kind of messes some things up, but yeah, it looks like the Pacific area and the Indonesia and part of I guess the left side of the right side of Australia got was all in the red blob there that the I don't know, I guess NASA comes out with their projected where the flare hit.
This is W8STX. Well, I'm looking at the QZ online, the real-time propagation prediction things, and for today, during the daytime, 80 through 20 is poor, but I've decided that at least on 20 meters, even poor, I can go out and get lots of contacts. If I'm activating, in the noontime area, usually no problem at all. So I just sort of ignore those now, but when I was first starting out, I was going, well, maybe I shouldn't go out today because it's going to be really, really tough to make contact. Well, at least during the weekdays on 20 meters, in the middle of the day, it's no problem here in Michigan to get your activation done. Pretty straightforward. Back to you.
73 and A index is 6.
Yep. If you look a little bit further down on the thing, the predictions for HF propagation says it's 4 for 80 through 40 and for 30 through 20, but you know, usually on 20, no problem, even when it says 4. Usually. Back to you, Jerry.
Yeah, I see that. Well, you got the 15 and 10 meter band are open. They've been, there's been quite a few activations or activations on 15 and some on 10. 10's kind of iffy, but like I said, I worked Austria on 10 meters. That guy was really high up there. He was like 28, 530.
M-H-E-U-Y, repeater.
This is W8STX. Well, Jerry, I think I've said it once before on the round table, but I'm not sure whether you were on at that time. I have made contacts on 40, 20, 17, and 15 meters, but I haven't yet made any contacts on 10. I have trouble tuning up my antenna with my amplifier. My amplifier has a tuner in it, and it's supposed to go down to 6 meters, but I have trouble tuning up on 10 meters. So I haven't made any contacts on 10 meters with my antenna that I take out for POTA, which is the Chameleon Empath Flight 2.0 vertical antenna in the typical configuration. Back to you. This is W8STX.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we got one of the YouTuber guests. He's activating right now, KE8 PGX. He's out at St. John's Marshland, 6789. He's on the 17-meter band. And there's also another station in Louisiana on the 17-meter band. There's some stations on the 15-meter band, 3 of them, Florida. They're all in Florida. And then, like I said, 10 meters iffy. They got a guy on 28,355 out of Florida. He's on 10. He's the only one that's on there. Bill's on there, K4NYM. He's on phone. Boy, that's a surprise. I usually work him on CW. I've worked him like 240 times.
This is W8STX. The last time I was out on 15 meters, I worked a station in Great Britain. That was, let's see, when was it? That was February the 2nd. Yeah, so, yeah, it can get out quite a ways on 15 meters. Back to you.
Yeah, 15 and 10 meters seem to be really good for the big hop into Europe, so to speak. I worked, I worked that Austrian station on 10, and I just seen that he had spotted, and so I tuned to that spot, and the wave came up, and I was able to work him. I also worked a French station on 15 meters, which there's not too many parks in France. There's a lot more summits on the air activity, but there are some parks, but It's kind of weird. Spain, Germany, and Britain are kind of the big European leaders for getting parks on the air.
Well, I have worked one park in Great Britain, and I've worked one park in Spain. Actually, I have not worked a park in Spain. I've had people who were hunting me from Spain work me. There's two different guys. One guy worked me twice, the same guy. But I have been by a fellow in the Azore Islands, which are off the coast of Portugal. So that was fun too. Back to you.
Yeah, I haven't worked any of the island chains yet, except for the Caribbean ones. I've worked a few Caribbean stations. Went on the Wireman the other day, and I was trying to find some 12-gauge flex weave wire, and they're out of it. And they were out of the QRP stuff too. So I was going to upgrade my QRP for my spy radio. Since it only puts out 10 watts, I was just going to go with a lighter wire. And I found a couple poles on AliExpress that are 13 meters or 43 feet. So I figured if I use a really lightweight wire, they won't bend as much. And that's usually the big problem. That radio, it's strictly end-fed. That's what it was designed for, and so that's how I'm using it. And so I keep an antenna set just for it. But I found some on Amazon. I'll have to look it up. KG887.
So very, very, very interesting. It's always tough when your preferred supplier of whatever you're looking for doesn't have what you're looking for, and you have to go scrambling around looking for a substitute, and then you always have to worry about, well, what's the quality of the substitute? Is it really the same product from a different supplier, or is it something different and they're just calling it something similar? It's an issue. And looking at my logs the last time when I was out in February the 9th, I did work a park in Puerto Rico. He actually hunted me, and so we had a park-to-park in Puerto Rico. That was fun. That was my very first Caribbean contact. Back to you. This is WASN.
Okay, yeah, I've worked a few of them. Yeah, I found it here. It's on Amazon. Silicone ribbon cable, they call it. BIN-Tech Go. BN, then the word Tech Go. And all one word. So I bought some yellow, and I bought some black, a 250 feet of 26 gauge. And it's really flexible. They silicone coated wire. And then I think later on in the week I watched that Coast and Wave channel. There's a 4-call guy, and he had mentioned the same wire. He bought the same wire for projects. He's kind of I don't know what his business is, but he goes to Poland a lot, And sometimes, like, he'll activate in Poland, and then he comes back to South Carolina. Yeah, he comes back to South Carolina, and, like, he'll activate from the beach, or he'll activate from, like, a parking lot by the, by one of the marinas or whatever. And then he'll take a noodle, a swim noodle, and he'll tie his counterpoise onto that and throw it out into the, out into the harbor.
NHPUY repeater.
This is W8SX, so very interesting. I think I saw a video on YouTube where the guys were activating from a sailboat, and they threw their counterpoise out, and while they were sailing, the counterpoise was just floating out in the ocean, and they were running some kind of a vertical, I think it was. And to follow up on something you mentioned the last time we talked, I think Mike, K8MRD, who has a channel on YouTube called Ham Radio Tube, well, he's recently done a video on the Faraday J-pole. He has, I haven't watched it, but the name of the video is the Fara-J 2-meter Faraday cloth J-pole antenna. I think that's his video. So I haven't watched it yet, but break the time. I did watch the video that you mentioned the last time, and I guess my comments would be sort of along the line of what Wes NAQM sent to you by email. It's fun to build things, but if you're interested in your time, you're interested in the cost of your materials, and you're interested in initial success, doing a cookbook kind of thing where you're sort of guessing and then changing your mind in the middle of the build, well, that's not a recipe for success, in my opinion. I'm a professional scientist by training, and to have a successful experiment or a successful build, it was all about getting all your ducks lined up, doing all your reading, all your calculations, getting all your materials laid out just so, and then following your protocol. And that usually provides a much better success rate than doing things by what I would call cookbooking, and I think that's what Wes was saying as well. Back to you. This is W8SX.
I built the ladder line version of that, and I got it pretty successful. The feed point issue, it's kind of, you gotta like tweak it until you get it to where you get your lowest SWR. So, and it doesn't necessarily fall into where they say you should attach it at. You kind of gotta like go up and down, which what he was doing in that video. The only thing I would have done differently than what he was doing is I wouldn't have put it up against the door. There's a lot of wood there in this door and stuff, but then you got what kind of frame is the window, how many nails are in the wall. You got all kinds of stuff that like can interact with it. It would have been better. I would have like took it out on my deck or hung it out in free space there and then tried to tweak it there. Maybe hung it off of a fiberglass pole or something like that. And then you wouldn't have so many things trying to interact with it.
very good point. Yeah, having it up against a solid object and doing those tests, I could see how that would be very convenient for a cloth-based project to do it indoors like that for video filming purposes, but probably is not the best situation for trying to actually get it tuned properly. Yeah, but if you had a windy day outside, it might be tough to do that. Don't know what his filming situation was like, but you know, I guess people do enjoy cookbook kinds of things and just playing around. But you know, I'm kind of a results-oriented kind of guy, and if I'm going to spend my time and my money on materials, I'm really looking for success. I don't want to futz around too much with, surely, you know, necessary futzing is okay, but unnecessary, well, that's just not my thing. Back to you.
Yeah, there's a guy on YouTube, and he's in Wisconsin. I forgot what his YouTube channel is. Oh man, he's got a 9 call. Anyway, he sells those the copper J poles, and I think he puts to cut down on the height for shipping wise. I think he puts a copper union in it on the longer section, but I'm sure he probably has to do the same thing. You have to kind of like tweak it and find where you can get the lowest SWR on it. I bought one in Dayton. It was but then it was a similar but different J pole to where it was a bunch of stainless steel rods. I've seen those around some of the ham stores sell them. I don't know if DX Engineering does, but there's a few of them that sell that variety. And basically, I think there's 3 or 4 poles on a rectangular piece of metal, and then one's got the feed point, and then the others react to it. And I've never made one myself, but I mean, you can find the instructions out there on the internet.
Well, if I didn't live in a HOA situation where I can't have a permanent antenna, you know, I'm not really handy enough or inclined to build my own antennas, but Michael, KB9BR, that's the guy that builds and sells the copper tubing J-poles. He has a YouTube channel, I think by the same name, KB9BBR. He does a lot of pod activations, so I enjoy watching some stuff, but I'm not in the market for a antenna like that because I just can't have one in my current situation. Back to you. This is W8STM.
AG887. Yep, that's the guy. I couldn't think of his call sign. He's got a degree in communications. That's where he gets a lot of his YouTubes are pretty professionally done.
Did not know that. I saw him on I think for the New Year's, he and one of his buddies went and were on a road to do 3 parks, I think. Or maybe it was during a contest. Maybe it was some contest. Yeah, they were contesting, but they were contesting from parks. Maybe it was Winter Field Day day, and yeah, he makes a lot of fun videos. He has sort of a really interesting dry wit about him. Back to you. This is W8STM.
NHBU.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, he's pretty decent. The one guy I won't subscribe to is one of my Canadian comrades out there in Ontario. He's got a YouTube channel, but I worked him on HF a couple times, and he won't QSL anybody. And it's like, really? So I unsubscribed to his channel. I kind of like took offense to that. I try to like do SASE, you know, and so like I'm paying the postage both ways. You just got to put your card in the envelope and drop it in the mailbox. I've still got to figure out this digital QSL thing. I wouldn't mind moving to that. I did see this one German guy. He had a video on how to make up QSL cards with the Canva application, which I have an app on my phone. But then he didn't go into any details about how to put the grid in to where you put all your signal information.
This is W8SX, and I think as I've mentioned to either Mike or one of the others, POTA guys that frequents this roundtable, I haven't gotten into QSL cards. I've gotten 2 or 3 from people who I've worked on POTA, but I just haven't done that. I'm trying to work my way into radio slowly. I'm a late bloomer, and I tend to just do one little thing at a time and get it working pretty well. But I haven't gotten into QSL cards. Back to you.
Oh, okay, very good. Yeah, I've sent out plenty of them, and wow, looks 23rd. I ordered a TIG machine. My son's replacing part of his floorboard in his Ranger. Yeah, his 06 Ranger. He got a leak inside the car somehow or another. I think for the windshield, but he's got to have his windshield replaced anyways. It's got a crack in it. And so I decided to order a TIG machine. I looked at another YouTube video where a professional welder was trying the machine out, and he was kind of happy with it. So I'm only going to use it for small projects. It'd be good for antenna building. So I had a mix-up with the welding place. I took my argon tank in, I think Wednesday, and I had them swap me out a replacement. They said it was too old, so they had to charge me a fee for that, which I had no big deal on. And but then they gave me mixed gas, argon and carbon dioxide instead. And then they called me later and said, hey, we screwed up or whatever. And I said, well, that's okay. I got a mixed gas cylinder that I need to replace, so I'll bring that out. KG88Z. So I brought that back yesterday, and it was after at work they asked me to stay over at like 6:30. I leave at 7. And I squeaked that into the day and went back down there and got the swap for the argon tank I need for this TIG welder. And then I sleeping, I had a couple hours in, and then Alexis says, there's somebody at the front door. And I go out there, and I switched insurance companies, and the guy was out to photograph the house. I mean, they never called me or nothing. And I said, yeah, whatever. I said, go ahead and photograph, and said, but thanks for waking me up. I work midnight shift. Good morning.
And 7-3.
This is W8STX. Well, I'm sorry you had that issue. Yeah, good communication can really smooth out relationships. And when there isn't good communication, well, relationships can be difficult. I wouldn't be too happy if I was unnecessarily woken up in the middle of the day. But, I don't know how many people work the night shift. I'm sure there are lots of people that do. But, yeah, I guess he had to photograph inside, I guess, and that's why he rang the doorbell. He wasn't just photographing outside. Is that correct? Back to you. This is W8STX.
Yeah, I wish my agent would have told me he was going to come out or whatever. And he asked me a couple days previous to that. He wanted pictures of my travel trailer because it's 40-some years old, and so I provided those. I provided one at a campground when I went to Dayton last year, and then one at home. So he was happy with that. But he didn't tell me this guy was coming out to photograph. And yeah, so I have the ringing doorbell, and so as soon as they ring the doorbell, it's connected to Alexa, and then Alexa tells me, there's somebody at the front door.
This is W8STX. Well, Jerry, I'm a firm believer that technology be working for us, and we shouldn't be working for technology. Back in the early days of computers, it seemed like you spent a lot of time futzing around trying to keep your computer working, and so I was always aggravated when that happens. But things have gotten better, but being nagged by a voice like that would be irritating to me. I'm an iOS guy, an iPhone kind of guy, and I never set up Siri, which is the voice-activated system, until I bought my new car, because the new car to do most of the work, you need to use Siri. Well, I guess you could do some things manually, but it turns out to be very handy in the car. But I don't want it in my home, and so we don't have Alexa, we don't have the Apple iPods or whatever they're called. Don't have any of that stuff. Back to you.
Oh, yeah, speaking about this flare, I get emails from Chris at WI8X. He just randomly sends me... he sends me the solar report, and he sent one out here, 602, he said, which that seems to link up somewhat. I thought... KG8H, my 6-meter repeater was going off. I turned it off. Yeah, he sent out one for 6:02 p.m. Yesterday, but I don't know that YouTube video from the guy out in Texas. It said 2,200 hours, which was 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. Our time.
NHBUY repeater.
Good morning.
Friday, 10 a.m.
Oh, that's pretty close to 6. 22:44.
No, very good, Jerry. Jerry, I'm going to need to wrap this up, and I got a few things I need to get going on today. So if you want to take your 73 round, we'll wrap up the roundtable for today, and we'll talk again another day. And hope you sure have a good weekend. Back to you.
I'll try. I got 2 more 12s to work on the schedules for Saturday and Sunday. And then I got to work 2 more days, then I'll be on vacation. I'm taking 6 days off. So, yeah, and then I'm going to get some stuff done around the house. I may do a couple activations. So, anyway, 7-3, have a good weekend, and talk to you again. KG8, 8Z.
73 to you, Jerry. 2 12 days on the weekend sounds exhausting to me, but if you're looking forward to 6 days off, well, I guess that's probably doable. Psychologically, it's very doable. And I do remember working long hours when I was working, but I'm glad that that's behind me. Break for time. And I will thank everyone who joined in the radio fun today. You've been listening to the weekday morning roundtable on this frequency. It is an open roundtable. It's open to all licensed amateurs, but you'll need to try us again on Monday. It's a weekday roundtable, and we'll start about 8 o'clock in the morning. But today, I'd like to thank Wes, Eric, the 2 Eds, Kilo Echo 8, Victor Golf Tango Ed, and Whiskey 8, Echo Mike Victor Ed for joining in. The 2 Larrys, NABWB and W0RMN Larry, and the 2 Mikes, KA8IMZ and W8ZFN Mike, Howard, Matt, Al, Ron, oh, and I forgot the other Mike, Captain Mike, Kilo Echo 8, Tango Yankee, Charlie Mike, Ralph, and Jerry. Good to hear everybody on the radio. Join us again tomorrow, on Monday, for another edition of the weekday morning roundtable about 8 o'clock in the morning. And I'll thank the taxpayers of Washtenaw County for supporting emergency management because they use this repeater and we're happy to share it with them. This is W8STX signing clear.
Friday, wherever you're at, or Tuesday, Monday, whenever you're watching this. Have a great day, 73.